It'll be a tough crowd. Try to stay awake. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Coach Bradley, as Kira said. I'm a personal trainer and the head coach for cross country and track and field here at York High School. Anatomy and physiology, basically what I was going to talk about, how that impacts what I do. I wear several hats as a trainer and as a coach, and I can tell you anatomy and physiology is a huge consideration in what I do. First part I'm going to talk about is as a trainer, as a personal trainer. Everybody has kind of images of what a personal trainer is. You see it on TV, on Biggest Loser, things like that. You see people flipping tires, you see trainers screaming at people, hollering at people. Well, some of my athletes probably say a little of that too, but as a trainer, that's not all we do. There's science behind what we actually do. Now, as a personal trainer, I work with people that from 10 years old to 93 years old. Now, the way I train a 13-year-old that's playing soccer obviously is going to be different than I'm training someone that's 92 years old, because I do the same type of training. Well, I'll probably kill the 92-year-old, and that doesn't really work out so well if you're a personal trainer. They really frown on you killing clients. So basically, all that is type of a consideration. Also, as a personal trainer, I work in the medical side of personal training. I work for a physician who does a lot of bariatric bypass surgeries and things like that. Those are people that are very severely obese, meaning that they are at a point where their obesity, if you will, is potentially life-threatening. So they're very desperate people undergoing a very difficult procedure. And so basically, working with those type of people, having to work with them so they understand their diet and the exercise part of it is very important. On the other side, working with athletes as a personal trainer and coach. I also work with triathletes as a triathlon coach. So understanding anatomy and physiology and how all that comes together. Now, for example, as a trainer and a coach, the cardiorespiratory system, obviously very important. I see that you guys are studying the respiratory system. As a trainer, I need to know how the respiratory system works. I need to know what the cardio system is doing. I need to understand how muscles work. I need to also, one step further, kinesiology and train the movements of the body, how that actually affects. And every person I train, every person I coach, that has a huge impact. So for example, I'll go back to talking about the medical side of personal training, working with obese patients. A lot of the patients that I see have numerous medical conditions in terms of high cholesterol, hypertension, high blood pressure. They have type 2 diabetes. So understanding their metabolism or endocrine system of their body is very important. Making sure that before they train, making sure that they eat, make sure that I have resources necessary, that if I'm training or working with diabetic patients, that if they go into some sort of medical situation, understanding how that system works is extremely important for me, as a trainer. Now, for the other side of the house, for people that I am training, just say for fat burning. So in other words, what I call those my vanity clients. So people are just trying to look good, for the beach or whatever the case may be. Understanding how the fat burning system of the body works. Understanding how the cardiovascular system works. Understanding that when I'm prescribing a cardiovascular activity to them, knowing that I have to make sure that they stay aerobic all the time. So they can't go, because basically, I don't know if you guys have studied the difference between aerobic and anaerobic and stuff like that, but if they go anaerobic, basically what they're burning is carbohydrates and sugar. They're not burning fat. So for instance, I need to know that we have about 3,000 calories of fat in our body at any one time, and we need to tap into that fat burning system for them to make a difference. If I did not know that from an anatomy and physiology standpoint, they wouldn't make any progress. I wouldn't have any clients, and I wouldn't make any money. So it's very important that I understand that. As a track coach and cross-country coach, a whole different realm, because I need to understand when my athletes are aerobic, when they're anaerobic. As a distance coach specifically, most of the time we are aerobic, because you can't run 3 miles, as you probably know, being anaerobic. You have only a limited amount of ATP in your body, so therefore they're going to hit a wall and the training would be worthless. So it's very important for me to understand and work and develop a training plan that's going to get them fit as we go through their fitness level. Now, working with different athletes, I will see different sports. I work with lacrosse players, soccer players, runners, triathletes, cyclists, all that have unique requirements. So understanding the big picture of anatomy and physiology and kinesiology is very important, but also how they all interact together. Because changing one dynamic in one area will potentially have an impact on another area. And when we're working with personal training as well as coaching, it's all about goals and objectives. So if I have a goal and objective for a client to lose 10 pounds by a certain period of time, obviously I've got to construct an exercise prescription that's going to support that using the various systems in the body, using various exercises, for example. Understanding the muscle systems of the body. I don't have to get to the finite level that like physicians and so like that, but I need to understand primary movers, secondary movers. So for instance, I have a guy who comes to me and says, well, I want bigger biceps. Well, I need to be able to design programs that's going to help with the biceps as a primary mover, but I also need to understand that the triceps are a secondary mover in that, and those exercises are going to go hand in hand with each other. From an athletic standpoint, you know, if I have a baseball player that comes to me that's trying to improve their batting, more power in their batting, you know, I need to understand how the muscular system is working in order to get that plane of motion to simulate the batting that's going to help them. And across the board, you know, I need to understand about abs and core. Abs and core are very important. 50% of all the power in the human body originates in the core. Core is not only the abs, but also the lower back all the way around. So a lot of different exercises, whether we're doing vertical exercises, rotary exercises, horizontal exercises, different planes of motion, those are all very important. So the point being, you know, a lot of people see the personal trainers on TV and they think it's all glamorous, they're just hollering at people to do whatever. But a good personal trainer, you know, is a professional that will study understanding human body. I've always been like a student of the human body because I'm really, how the human body works, I think is just amazing how it works and how it responds or how it doesn't respond. So all the time as a personal trainer and coach, I'm having to take continuous education. So basically I'm taking a lot of anatomy and physiology, sports mechanics, biomechanics, understanding, you know, weight loss, and new techniques are going on in there. New things that are put out by USA Track and Field on how to get athletes faster, leaner. Everybody wants to be leaner, faster. You know, so basically you got to stay up with all those requirements that are out there, which is, you know, it's kind of a full-time job in itself because my accrediting organization, who I'm certified through as a trainer, is the National Federation of Professional Trainers. So they require a certain amount of CEs every year, and I have to recertify every year. And a lot of the other organizations I'm certified through, the USA Track and Field, USA Cycling, USA Triathlon, also have their own certification requirements as well. So, you know, when you go into it, it's all the kind of the glamour. I want to be a personal trainer, and if anybody's interested, it's a great field. I love it. I get to have a huge impact on people's lives. Sometimes they're not really happy with me, but you know, at the end of the day, I hope to get them to the results that they need. And if that result is them losing 10 pounds, or is it them getting off high blood pressure medicine, you know, getting off sleep apnea anymore, and they turning their lives around, you know, I will take that. You know, that's a great reward. And I'll see as a track and cross country coach, you know, looking for wins, looking at improvements in athletic abilities. Kids that come out, you know, knew nothing about running, and also now, you know, are getting offers from schools to run, you know, at maybe D3 and D2 schools, which, you know, is very, very rewarding as well. So that's kind of in a nutshell how I use anatomy and physiology and kinesiology and what I do as a personal trainer and coach. Is there any questions I can answer for you guys about that?
Yeah, you guys have some prepared questions.
Yeah, the ones I saw was about the education requirement and things of that nature. Some of the advanced certifications, as you go up as a sports performance specialist, you got to have an undergraduate degree. And there's a lot of, you know, like I said, the continuing education requirements that you've got to take in the various topics of what you do as well. And someone asked a question about stress. There's really, I really don't feel any stress per se. Maybe my clients feel the stress more than I do. But I guess if there's any stress, it's the making sure that I'm meeting my clients' expectations and making sure that, you know, we have clear sets of goals and objectives of what they need to be. You know, if someone tells me that, you know, they want to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks, well, obviously that's not too realistic. That's not going to happen. So I've got to kind of bring them in and make sure that, you know, that everything is realistic based on their expectations. So that's very important as well. Anything? Yes, sir.
Being a personal trainer, do you also like for people who want to lose weight, do you also make like diet plans for them?
Well, in the state of Virginia, we're limited on doing food plans and things of that nature, because that's usually limited in the state of Virginia to a dietitian, a licensed professional in that area. As a trainer, what I do is I will talk to them about, you know, you should be eating this, you should be eating this, and that they want to get in specific dietary planning. I refer them to a dietitian who sits there with a food plan or writes it all up. You know, so I know some really great dietitians that work with, also not with just the general population, but athletes as well. So, very good question. Any others? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do. I work at the Victory YMCA. I work at the Center for Weight Loss for Dr. Clark. I also here at the high school, and I do my own personal training and coaching for. Right now, I've coached several people that are doing Ironman Chattanooga. Basically, it's an Ironman race. So an Ironman triathlon is basically a 2-mile swim. It's 112 miles on the bike, and a marathon. It's all done the same day. So, you know, obviously a big time commitment. And again, working with somebody like that, an Ironman athlete, very important because I've got to understand anatomy and physiology and how the human body works, because he's going to beat their body up for 12 hours doing that. So very important to make sure he stays focused and centered. Good question. Any other questions?
Well, actually, I was gonna ask the dietitian, or about the dietary plan.
Yeah.
I've got, a couple friends that's what they do. So like in some states, you know, there's a combination between the two, so you can be both a dietitian and a physical trainer, or a personal trainer, but in, like you said, in here, since we're a Commonwealth, we do little things different around
Right,
here.
right.
So, which is nice.
Yeah. Our scope of practice in the state of Virginia narrows that versus the dietary plan part of it.
Anything else, guys?
How did you do on yesterday?
You did really well. We got a lot of PRs, we got a lot of lettering. Our girls 4x1 qualified for states, so yeah, we did well yesterday. Very, very